Hello, and welcome to Tell the People, a program about our Catholic faith, with news and information in and around the Catholic Diocese of Lafayette. I'm Stephanie Bernard. In today's show, Tris Littell interviews Deacon Cody Miller about an upcoming Total Consecration workshop. In his first appearance here on Tell the People, Father Michael Russo's talk in the segment, What It Means to Be Catholic, is entitled The End Time. And in a conversation with Bishop Michael Jarrell, Bishop Jarrell interviews Tony Fugile about his life and being a parishioner of St. Anthony's in Eunice. And now Catholic news on this December 2nd weekend. Christmas may seem far away, but the Lafayette Diocesan Office of Justice and Peace is encouraging everyone to mark their calendars for the Child Smile deadline. Child Smile is an annual project to solicit donations of Christmas gift boxes for children whose parents have been incarcerated. The gifts are then distributed to the children at a special private party closer to the holidays. The deadline to donate gifts for this year's Child Smile project is December 5th. Donations may be dropped off at the front desk of the Immaculata Center in Lafayette between its operating hours of 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 8:30 a.m. to 12 noon on Fridays. Some suggestions for items to be placed in the gift boxes include dolls, stuffed animals, CDs or DVDs, costume jewelry, watches, and gift cards. Please refrain from including items that are secondhand, breakable, liquid, or perishable, as well as toy weapons. In preparation for the celebration of Christmas, the Lafayette Diocese encourages everyone to participate in the many Advent missions and penance services which will be offered in the church parishes. People are also encouraged to refer to their local church parish bulletins for information on any additional events which may be scheduled. The Cathedral of St. John the Evangelist in Lafayette will host The Christ Child is Coming. Is There Room at Your Inn? On December 9th from 7 to 8 p.m. and again on December 10th from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Immaculate Heart Mary of Church in Lafayette will present Going on Faith from December 10th through the 12th from 7 to 8 p.m. nightly, with musical preludes at 6:45 p.m. Presenters will be Father Michael Champagne, Deacon Michael Morrison, and Sister Eva Regina Martin. St. Joseph's Church in Parks will host a healing mass with a rosary, prayers for healing, and confessions to follow at 5:30 p.m. on December 11th. The event will be led by Father Brad Guillory. A men's workday has been scheduled for Our Lady of Sorrows Retreat Center in St. Martinville on December 15th. The day will begin at 8 a.m. and conclude at approximately 4 p.m. Mass will be celebrated at 12 noon and lunch will be provided. All men are encouraged to lend a hand with carpentry, plumbing, electrical, painting, and concrete work. For further information, please call the Community of Jesus Christ at 394-6550. In honor of the Advent and Christmas seasons, the Cathedral of St. John the Evangelist in Lafayette will host a service of 9 lessons and carols on Sunday, December 16th at 7:30 p.m. The Cathedral Choir will sing seasonal favorites, which will be interspersed with readings from Holy Scripture and the Office of Readings. Father Chester Arsenault, pastor, will officiate. This service is free of charge and open to the public. For more information, please call 232-1322. Coming up next, Tris Littell interviews Deacon Cody Miller about an upcoming Total Consecration workshop.
Welcome to Tell the People. I'm Trista Littell, and joining me this morning is my good friend Deacon Cody Miller. Deacon Cody, welcome.
It's nice to be here with you, Miss Trista. It's always a pleasure.
You're going to be telling us today about a visit of Father Hugh Gillespie to the Diocese of Lafayette. Tell us about Father Hugh.
Father Hugh is a Montfort missionary who was ordained in 2005. And his special charism, he's an author, he's a missionary, he's also the editor of Montfort Publications, and he wrote a new book that is being circulated all over the country. It's been released only 5 months and over 50,000 copies have been sold, and it's taking off like wildfire across the whole country. And it's a pleasure to see how much this work is really making a difference in a lot of people's lives.
Well, you mentioned the Montforts and the Legions of Mary. Please tell us about that.
Yes, the Montforts and the Legion of Mary had a real close relationship in the 50s and 60s and 70s. And in the 80s and 90s, it kind of waned. And since Father Hugh's taken over as kind of like the spiritual head of the Montforts in the United States, he sought to reestablish that great communication and the great charism that they share, because the Legion of Mary is founded upon the spirituality of St. Louis de Montfort, especially total consecration. And they do wonderful work. They do evangelization, they do hospital visits, they do parish work. And their charism is built upon St. Louis de Montfort, the founder of the Montfort missionaries.
Well, when will Father Hugh Gillespie be here, Deacon Cody?
Father Hugh arrives December the 5th, and we put him to work right away, because on the 6th he goes to Fatima and speak to all the priests of the diocese. And he's presenting a workshop for them on the new book in total consecration. And then on the 8th, he has a really full schedule. He's going to be doing a workshop in the morning for the Legion of Mary on December the 8th for the spirituality of St. Louis de Montfort, to work with the Legion of Mary folks. And then he does 4 o'clock Mass in Milton. Then we ship him off to Pius, and he does the consecration Mass for about 300 people that I'm leading through a 5-week consecration course. And on Sunday, he preaches all the Masses in Milton. And 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th of December, he actually does a mission in Milton on the 4 movements of the Montfortian spirituality. So he's going to be a very busy man. And on the 14th, he does a workshop for the deacons and the deacon candidates in Milton at our church. And on Saturday, he works with Juan Pagan, the deacon at UL, to do a Spanish workshop at UL campus.
That's at Our Lady of Wisdom.
Our Lady of Wisdom, yes ma'am. He's going to be really busy.
Mm-hmm. Now, you said that he's going to do a mission at St. Joseph in Milton, and you've talked about the 3 days of the mission. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Yes, it's a 4-night mission, and the first night is knowledge of the world. You know, the world is always making inroads to our hearts and our souls and our minds. And sometimes the stuff the world wants to stuff in our brain is not too good.
Right.
And what this first night of the mission does is to help us kind of focus away from the world and to listen to the still small voice of God, to turn out all the things that are negative and the things that really get us upset, and to turn toward what Jesus wants to tell us. And of course, that brings us into night 2, which is knowledge of self. In night 2, when we look at knowledge of self, Father Hugh will give us the tools that we need to understand how to relate to God as a father, a forgiving, a good father that really cares for his children, and to understand our relationship with God our Father by knowing ourselves. And he is actually going to custom tailor a mission for our parish. And of course, night 3 is knowledge of Mary. How can we turn to Mary as the perfect mother, the most perfect of all mothers? A mother who loves us and cares for us. A mother who fixes our boo-boos when we fall. A really good and awesome mother, to relate to her, not for herself, but to introduce us to her son, Jesus. And we are actually going to be having a consecration mission to consecrate a whole parish of St. Joseph. And I ask all the people who are listening to me by this interview, radio and television, to please come early, because he's a nationally known speaker and the church will be full. So we're really asking people to come early, and it's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime event, a really, really wonderful spirituality.
So he gives you tools to do a great examination of conscience, and I'm sure, will there be opportunities for reconciliation?
Yes, we will have opportunities for confession, so we can cleanse that soul with the soap of Jesus and really get into having a personal relationship with Jesus through Mary.
Now, he has a new book. Tell us, how's the book doing, and how can people get a copy of this book if they'd like one?
The new book is doing awesome. Been released only 5 months, over 50,000 copies. And if they go to myconsecration.org, they can get a copy of it absolutely free. myconsecration.org. It's a wonderful organization who gives these books free of charge to anyone who wants to do them. And also, I'm available for working with parishes for 5 weeks on total consecration with priests and deacons, and also through the mission work that I do to promote total consecration. You can contact me at CajunFreshman@usa.net, or my cell, 337-849-7963. I'm available to do workshops and missions in the parishes in the Louisiana area.
Now, spell out Cajun Freshman in case people...
Yes,
aren't-
CajunFreshman @usa.net.
Very good, very good. Well, where's Father Hugh going to be next after he leaves here?
Well, Father Hugh is not going to get too much rest, Miss Krista, because after we wear him out here in Louisiana, we repeat the same thing at the Diocese of Alexandria with Father Chad Portain. He has a whole lot of work cut out for Father Hugh as well as we do here. But you know, we'll treat him well because we'll fatten him up with the crawfish etouffee, the seafood platters, all kinds of good food, because you know, realistically speaking, in Yankee Land, they do not eat well.
Oh, goodness. Well, we can't thank you enough for joining us today and spreading this wonderful word. And folks, we want you to stay tuned because there's more to come on Tell the People.
Thank you, Trista and Deacon Cody. Coming up next, in his first appearance here on Tell the People, Father Michael Russo's talk in this segment, What It Means to Be Catholic, is entitled The End Time.
Hello, I'm Father Michael Russo, the pastor of Our Lady of Fatima in Lafayette, and I am replacing Father Michael Champagne on this segment, What It Means to Be Catholic. We're now at the end of another year, and so appropriately we reflect on the end, not so much to speculate about the end of the world. Really, that's wasted energy. What is more important for followers of Christ is to remember that one day we will all leave this world. And this is what the Church puts before us in her readings at this time of year, that someday we will all die. No sane person would deny this, and yet often we can get so caught up, can't we? So caught up with our whys. Why so much unfairness? Why so much injustice? Why so much sickness and suffering? Why? So immersed in the things of this world that we forget that it's really not about this world, that soon we will leave this world of unfairness and injustice and sickness and suffering. A theology class was studying the biblical passage from 1 Thessalonians where Scripture states that at his second coming, Christ will descend from heaven with a loud shout. And one of the students asked the professor, what will this shout be? What will Christ say when he comes again? And the professor thought for a moment and answered, he will shout, enough. And the student looked a bit puzzled. Again, the professor repeated, he will shout, enough. Enough suffering, enough starvation, enough terror, enough death, enough indignity, enough lives trapped in helplessness, enough sickness and disease, enough. Do you get it? Whatever comes our way,